Hey guys, it's Drummond. So I'm going to kind of talk about what happened at the DC Pride Parade this year because my friends and I were actually there and right there where everything kind of happened. And I feel like after reading the things that the news is putting out and what the police are putting out, it really is downplaying what actually happened. And I wanted to kind of put a video out there kind of explaining what happened. Gonna try really hard not to get emotional during it because it was a crazy experience, and there's just so many things that I'm feeling right now because of what happened. And it's honestly, that's not how a Pride Parade should end. Like, it was honestly probably the scariest moment in my life, and even though there was no shots fired and no one was hurt by gunfire, there were a lot of people that were hurt because of the panic that happened because of that. And honestly, it went from like pure happiness. My friends and I were so happy. It was my friend Meg's first Pride Parade, and I had met up with so many different people, and I'd actually bumped into a couple of you guys that watch my channel. Hopefully you guys are all okay. It was crazy. Like, we were sitting there recording all the different parts of the parade, and everyone was just so happy. And you've got like churches walking around, and you're sitting there like seeing all these people just showing so much love for the LGBT community. The parade started at 4 and it was about around 7:20 when it happened. So it was definitely a very long parade, and no one was really leaving. There was a few people that left, but for the most part, everyone was staying for the whole parade, and it was so long. And I'm sure it probably would have gone all the way until 8 had this not happened. But what happened first, so the place that we were right beside the CVS. I'm just shaking a little bit. We were right beside the CVS, and we were kind of up on the platform, and the Trevor Project was the part of the parade we were at. And at first I was like recording the Trevor Project, and like in my head I was just like, wow, these people are amazing people. Like, the Trevor Project people help people who are dealing with suicidal thoughts. And I'm just like, wow, I'm just so excited to see this, and I'm just like excited to be there. And I'm sitting there like recording, and this girl beside me, she's like, what the fuck? And I like put my camera down and turn it off, and I look over, and there's just like a mob of people running towards us screaming. And at first I was kind of like, oh my God, is there like a celebrity on one of the floats? And I was just like, okay, why are all these people running? And I was like, they're being extremely rude. They're like pushing the gate, and like where we were, there was the gate, the parade, and like CVS, so like, and then the platform. And it was very, very tight space. Even when people were walking, it was really hard to kind of get through because there were so many people. So then I look over and I see people dropping their Trevor Project like signs, and they're running the opposite direction. And like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? And then someone screams, someone's got a gun, someone's shooting, and people are like pushing us against the platform trying to get past because it's such a tight squeeze. I know that there was some footage on the news of people kind of just like standing there at the parade, and then you kind of see people starting to run. But the point of view that they had was like an open area in the DuPont Circle. So there was a lot of room for people to kind of push through and get to safety. But where we were, it was very tight, and it was already really hard for us to all be there because we were already so jammed packed. And it was like a river that just kind of washed everyone away. Like, Meg ended up getting washed down, and Daniel and I were trying to find her. But like, I jumped up onto the platform to get away from all the people because they were pushing so hard. And I was just sitting there, I was like, oh my gosh. And then when I heard them saying that there's a shooter, I was just like, oh my God, I can't be on top of this platform. So I kind of jumped down, and I was just like being pushed into the crowd. And then I saw this girl fall, and I was trying to help her up, and I got pushed. And I just like pulled people to the wall because there were so many people just pushing through, and everyone was just like running on top of each other. They were trying to jump over the metal gates, and they were just like jumping over it, then the gates were falling on people and people were like running on top of the gates. So for people who are like trying to say that, oh, it wasn't real, there was no gun or whatever, I honestly, at that moment, like, it didn't matter if there was a gun. When people are screaming, there's a gun, there's a shooter, and because our community's already dealt with so many different things, like, you're running for your life whether or not someone's actually shooting or not. Because when you see thousands of people that used to be standing there like with cameras taking pictures and smiling, running with fear like they're going to die, like, you're running for your life. Like, honestly, I was just, things were going through my head like, oh my God, I hope I don't see anybody near me get shot. Oh my God, I hope I don't get shot. And then I'm like, oh my God, where is Meg? So like, it was pure chaos and it was horrible. There was thousands of people just running in every direction. Like, you saw like mothers like handing off their kids to like the men so that they wouldn't get knocked over. It's just, there was so many things. And like, one of the people who watched my channel, I took a selfie with him, but he was in a wheelchair, and I'm just like, oh my God, there's so many different people in this area that aren't capable of running from this situation, and people are just running over top of each other. So I was like, just thinking about all the emotion that is going to go forward coming from this event. Like, if you were there, like, and it's crazy because there were so many people at Pride that when we were walking back to our hotel, like, people were still walking back the direction we came from and they had no clue what was happening. I called my family because I didn't know how quickly this stuff was going to get to the news, and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know if there was a real shooter. So I was calling my family and I was just letting them know. I was like, I'm okay. I don't know if you guys have seen anything on the news yet, but I just wanted to let you know that me and my friends are okay. So it was just really intense. And then like, people were screaming to get into buildings, and like, no one knew what was happening, but everyone was just trying to find safety. And I was just like, I want to be back in my hotel. I don't want to be anywhere on the streets. And honestly, like, that is not how a Pride is supposed to be. Like, it's supposed to be like all the other parts of the clips that I got from the parade. I didn't record anything afterwards just because I felt like that would be really impolite. But there was like people screaming for their friends, like people on their phones trying to find people. There was like Pride, like flags laying all over the ground. It was just the saddest thing to see. There was like floats abandoned, like the people on the floats had seen it and just jumped off and started running with everybody else. So like, we ended up going down another street where it was less people and just kind of sat there and just kind of took it all in. And as we were walking back to the hotel, we walked up to a police officer and we were just like, can you tell us what happened? And the police officer told me that there was a gun recovered, that no one was shot, that there was a lot of people hurt from the commotion of everyone running in different directions and just kind of pushing people out the way. And he said that more likely all of the Pride events would be canceled. I know we looked at Twitter and Capitol Pride announced that the parade was canceled and that most of the events that night were going to be canceled. Then they kind of started posting stuff that they were going to have it. But honestly, after that experience, I was scared to death. Thankfully, our hotel had like a rooftop pool and bar, and they kind of had a party going on up there. So we kind of went up there to kind of relax a little bit, but it was just all so surreal. We were like trying to Google to see what happened. And everything is just like the news, everything is so different. There's 13 people in the hospital. There's 9 people in the hospital, 5 people. And I'm like, everything is different. And there were so many news channels that it seemed like it was downplaying it. It was like, oh, a minor thing happened at Pride. Oh, a fake alarm. It wasn't real. There was no gun. There was a gun. There was this and that. Like, all the stories were different. And honestly, to be there, like, it didn't matter if there was a gun. People were scared to death. People were grabbing the people that they loved and running. And for me, like, it's insane because, like, my brain is like, these were all people that were just like celebrating Pride. These were people that were waving and dancing and throwing beads and everything at Pride, waving their flags, and then just pure chaos. So after getting back to the hotel, we decided that we weren't going to let this event like ruin our pride. We wanted to still go out and do something. We ended up kind of jumping in an Uber and going out to a bar and just hanging out with people, and it was nice to kind of just relax and dance it off. But honestly, for the rest of the night, I was just like super tense. I was just like super worried because going to Pride in the first place, like being in a big, large group of LGBT people, I already feel a little bit endangered, and it's sad that that's the world that we live in. But I mean, when Pulse happened a couple years ago, like I didn't go to Pride that year here in DC because that scared me to death. And to be a part of it this year, like I was scared to death, like, and there was no guns fired, but the mob, like the crowd just running towards you, and like you could just see the fear, and like people didn't care, like people were running over each other trying to get to safety. So like it was insane, it was scary. But we went out, got back to our hotel super late, and this morning we were gonna do some of the concerts and stuff, but it was pouring down raining, and we were just like, you know what, we're exhausted. Like we didn't get back to our hotel room until 5. We had to check out of my hotel by 11 o'clock, and I just didn't get a lot of sleep. So I drove home, dropped my friend Meg off in Richmond, and then my other friend in Charlottesville, and honestly, I'm exhausted. I have a week full of work now, and I am extremely tired. I don't want this event to define 2019 DC Pride, even though that will forever be etched in my memory, like that moment in time, like the amount of fear I had in me, like, and it's like my emotions are everywhere because I'm like thinking about people who might never go to Pride again because of this, people who are now scared to go out in public. Like that event, even though there wasn't a gun being shot, it still was extremely scary. Like it felt like what it would be like if there was someone actively shooting. So I just hope that people can remember the good things. I hope that the people that went to the concerts can remember the concerts, and the people that went to the parade can remember all the good things that happened before this happened. I'm going to end this video now, and I'm going to share some of the clips that I got from the parade. Hope you guys enjoy, and if you have any comments or need to talk to someone if you were there, please reach out. I would love to talk to you guys, and I can definitely point you in the right direction. I've got a lot of connections with different groups like this and the Trevor Project, that if you need to talk to someone, I can get someone to talk to you if it's something that I can't talk to you about. But please enjoy these clips, and happy Pride Month, you guys. Bye.
You better work, bitch. Mansion. Party and friends. You better work, bitch. You better work, bitch.
With no pass.